Okay, now the easiest way to carry an English saddle is to put it upside down on your hip. That's it, like that.
Okay.
Okay, because if you do it the other way, the main weight is at the front and it keeps falling down your hip.
It slides. Yep.
Okay, same thing with a Western saddle. Okay, don't drop it. Okay, now take it over to the barrel and face it backwards from Remmer, like face it that way. Turn it that way.
On the barrel.
On the barrel. Okay. Now, this is my saddle that I use every day, so my girth's just a little bit dirty, but I'm going to show you how to do this. On the girth straps, there are numbers, okay? So you're going to pull this through that little slot there and then buckle it onto number 7. And I know it's number 7 because of, you know, that's what I ride Remmer in every day. And then tuck them in, yep.
And then do they both go in there?
If you have a lot of length, yep.
Okay.
Now you'll also notice that I put my stirrup and my stirrup leather underneath the flap, okay? Which is something you can do when you've got a hole here. See how my fingers come through? From the stirrup bar. So you can, that's an option. You can either put it underneath or over the top. I like it underneath because it just keeps it all out from under my legs. And also because the girth buckles are way down here, I can put it underneath. But if you had a saddle with the girth buckles up here, you couldn't have your stirrups underneath because it would catch on them. Okay? So you want to make sure that these are nice and straight. And see this little V thing here? Right there? That anchors the saddle in 2 places here, and then you've got the front strap which anchors it there. A lot of saddles only anchor in the front and then it puts more pressure on the front. This actually distributes the pressure through the whole saddle.
It sounds like if it pulled at the front it would be pulling the saddle like that.
It gives it has more tendency to do that.
All right.
Okay, now you have an option when you take your saddle off a horse. You can either just take the girth off altogether, which I find really annoying, or you can do this. You keep everything kind of straight like that, so nothing's twisted, and you buckle this onto your stirrup leather, like that. So now that holds your girth up.
Great.
Okay, so when you pick it up, your girth isn't going to drag on the ground. Try it. Okay?
Good.
Now, let's pretend the fence is my horse. And we like to saddle from what we call the Indian side, the opposite side, so that you don't have to throw your girth straps over the horse, all right? So just notice, if you were to throw that over the horse, your girth can flop on the other side, okay? So instead, do it the other way, like stand facing me and saddle that way. Put it on the other hip. Okay, before you're going to saddle, you turn your saddle like this and put your hand there, exactly right there, and now you can just swing it onto the fence. Yeah. Now, you're going to have to do a little bit of an uphill one for my horse, okay? Luckily, it's not a Western saddle going up on that big, tall 17-hand horse.
Okay.
Okay? So, he's standing exactly the right position.
All right.
So put it onto your hip. You're going to now be in the saddling preparation, sideways, like that. Okay. And now go up to him and see he's moved, so the pad has moved back, and put the pad up onto his shoulders.
Okay. Well, I like to get there.
Okay.
I need to go like this. Good. And the way I remember that is it's heavier in my hand when I have it the other way around.
Okay, so bring it way up onto his withers and slide it back a little bit. So it's still going to be a bit too far in front. Okay, now you're going to throw the saddle up. And the way to do it is just kind of swing it like this until it's going to feel light. And then you just let it take itself up there.
Okay. Oh!
Not too bad. Okay. Now center
do that
it
again.
on the pad. Okay.
Can I watch you do it?
Sure. I stand next to my horse like this. I let him sniff it. Okay, so he knows what's coming up. And then what I do, because my arms aren't long enough, so I just hold it in the back here and in the front there, and I swing it up like this. And then pull this up tight in the center like that. And I center the saddle on those air cells.
Okay.
Okay? Pull it off onto your hip. Allow the horse to sniff the saddle.
Slipped back.
Yeah.
A lot.
A little bit further back, otherwise it's too high. Okay. Oh, now are the valves open?
Yes.
Okay. You want to keep the valves open, otherwise you're going to be saddling a balloon on his back. So by keeping it open, it's going to naturally press out the excess air.
Okay.
That was a scratch. Pay attention, Rimmer.
Remy.
We'll start again from, wait, oh, never mind.
Is that better?
It was really good, actually. I wasn't watching. I was scratching him. You want to do it again?
When I watched you, you let the front touch before you let the back touch. I'm trying to have the whole thing sit down at the same time.
Oh, very good.
All right.
Okay, Rimmer.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, now you want to make sure that the valves are open on your pad.
Okay.
Otherwise it's like saddling a balloon onto the horse.
All right.
And you have it a little far forward, but not too far, because you want to slide it back like an inch or so.
Okay. Sniff it.
Good job. That's it. Now pull that way up, and you don't want to have more air cell in front than behind, so you want to balance your saddle on it, like in between. And you can't really see it from the camera, but the contact point is about here on the underside of the saddle. So then you go, have I got the same amount in front as behind?
You mean behind in here?
Mm-hmm. So it's centered on the air cells.
Yeah.
And now grab this little strap and pull the pad up equally into the center. See how the other side is down?
Yeah.
Pull that side more. You want it equal. And so it's going to be about an inch apart up there in the gullet.
Okay.
Okay? And then as the horse moves, it's just going to settle itself and find exactly the right place.
Okay, I can feel if I put my fingers in between
You
there.
can feel about an inch.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, now let your girth down. And then go to the back and just make sure that the back of the saddle is centered over the pad as well.
Like this way, send it over?
You can just see it from here. Yeah. Make sure that that gullet is right in the middle.
Okay,
The
yep.
gullet of the pad is right in the middle of the gullet of the saddle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, when we saddle our horses this far back, like you can see here that, like feel where his scapula is. See how it goes just under the front of the pad?
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you remember how far it came back?
Yeah.
Is the saddle then in the right place? See where the stirrup bar is?
Yeah.
Yep.
Stirrup bar is behind that 5
Yeah.
inch. Yeah.
So because this is way further back than most people saddle horses, because usually the saddles are up here, right? They come way forward and they're all on the front end. That's why we have this little V, because we pull the girth forward like that. See that? So it angles forward and still comes to the right place in here on the sternum of the horse.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Now we need to just turn the horse around so we can get to his other side. Now, you're going to reach under and get the girth and bring it slightly forward on that angle that I showed you on the other side. Okay, so you reach under with the hand that's closest to the horse. That's it. Because otherwise you come under like this and it's a vulnerable position, because if the horse moved, he would push you backwards this way. Mm-hmm. See that? Whereas if you go like that, if something happened, you can step away. Mm-hmm. Okay? And now just thread your girth straps through and you just snug it up. It's got a little bit of elastic in there, So you don't want it to go real tight, even just go one more hole and pull your girth strap up vertically. There you go. And then you can just slot it in. Good. Okay, and do the other one. Now the second one, you'll notice, doesn't go as high. It'll be one hole less. Okay, so you're on 5 on one side and
4 and
4 and 3. Okay, and that's what gives you that angle coming forward like this. All right. Now, if you step back and look at the horse from over there, okay, you'll see that the saddle kind of looks a bit propped up at the back. It's quite high, right? This compared to that. But watch what happens when you sit. The air is going to compress down and flow into those spaces between the shims, and now it'll be perfect. So don't worry if it just looks a little bit high before you get on them and before all the air is where it should be.
Okay.
Okay? And now we would move the horse around and, get him ready to cinch up. And you would do 2 more tightenings before you get on the horse. Okay? So let's do that now. You want to make sure that this is tight enough to not roll off around him. See, this is pretty loose. I would go 1 more hole. Good. And then often a good thing when you're warming up the horse is back him up first.
And you just leave those open?
Yeah, just leave them, because in the end you'll tuck them, right?
Back him up first?
Back him up first. He's all asleep.
Fast,
okay.
slow?
No, just like that. All right, now move him around you. Just at a walk is fine. Wake up, Rimmer. Okay, now stop him and snug it up another hole.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Now, see how I did that? Even if you can wait for that, when they go, then on the is when you take it up another hole.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And now it would be good to trot him a little bit.
Okay.
And if you have a horse that, is kind of fresh or young, then you would trot and canter them, like on a longer rope. Give him lots more rope. You trot and canter them and even send them over a little jump just to make sure that they're not going to buck or do anything a little too fresh. And that's all what our ground preparation is about. Okay, now bring him around and snug it up. And you're going to tighten it, like let's say it's going to go 1 more hole, would be what would feel right now. But you're going to go 2 more holes. Turn your hand the other way, like
where did
like
all that
this.
air come from?
Like this. All right, it'll give you more leverage.
Okay, so I've gone up, but you want me to
Now go 1 more. So it's a little tighter than you want. But when you sit on him now, the rest of the air will settle and it'll be just right. So that's a little tight. And the way that we can tell it's a little tight is when you go to put your hand under where the buckles are, right where the buckle is. It's a little, you can't get in. But if you had 1 hole down, you'd be able to slide your whole hand in. It'd be snug, but not too tight. So you want to go a little too tight, because once all the air is where it needs to be, it'll be perfect.
Okay, and we've left these valves open.
The valves are still
this.
open. Okay. So now you're going to close the valves and get ready to get on. And what you need to do is just push down on the saddle, especially the English saddle, because it's so light. You just push down with one hand and then shut them. So
okay, yeah, I felt just a little bit of air come out then.
So you just leave them on through the whole saddling process, and then just the last little bit you close them. And now you want to see if your stirrups are going to be the correct length. And what you do is you put your hand right at the top, like put your fingers way at the top of the leathers there, and then pull that to your armpit. Now see how it goes past your armpit? It's probably going to be a little bit long for you. So you just take them up 1 hole. And I like to put my buckles down here so they don't interfere with my thigh here. And they're also easy once you're on. If you needed to change anything, you can just make a quick adjustment. That's it. And I put the buckle to the inside so that it doesn't catch on this or touch on my leg. You can even take it down a little lower if you want, but that's okay. And now with this stirrup, these MDG stirrups are fantastic because when you put your foot in, like it has to twist this leather, but instead of that, you can just turn it like this, and now your stirrup's perfectly ready for you.
Okay, great.
Okay, just do the other side.